Hi, I'm Charles-Kriel and welcome to DVJ, The Next Revolution. Today we're going to take a look at the latest audiovisual technology designed for the club and for the DJ. We're going to have a look at the Pioneer DVJ-X1, a scratch DVD player specifically designed for DJs. We're also going to look at the latest digital scratch techniques, and we'll teach you a bit toward the end. But even more important, what we'll do today is show you how to take your favorite white label tunes, make a DVD single quick and easy, and get it out in the club tonight. All right, let's get started. Before you play your first DVJ set, we'll need to hook up the DVJ-X1 to our mixers. We've got a DJ mixer and a VJ mixer today. On the back of the DVJ-X1, you'll find there are a lot of different options for output. You have S-video outputs, composite outputs, component outputs. There's digital audio output as well as analog output as well. We're going to use analog output and we're going to use composite video because in the club that seems to work best, and it's the way that most systems are set up. For a cable, you use your standard DVD connection cable like you would use on your home stereo system. You have yellow for video and red and white for left and right on the audio side. Hook up your yellow to your master output on the DVJ-X1, and then we hook up the yellow to the master input on the V4. Red to red, white to white. And for the input on our DJ mixer, we're going to go into the CD input. Quick and easy, and you're away. The Pioneer DVJ-X1 is really the CDJ-1000 plus video. It's all based on the same principle and works pretty much the same. There's a big platter in the middle that lets you grab a hold of your track and scratch it back and forth if you want to, or get it in a position that you want to cue it. There's also your outer ring, and the outer ring lets you slightly speed up your track or slightly slow down your track in the moment so that you can get two tracks lined up together in the mixer. You also have your tempo slider, of course, which lets you speed up and slow down the track, maintaining that throughout the whole playback. On top of that, there's what's called master tempo, and that lets you speed up your track but keep the pitch the same. You can also slow it down and keep the pitch the same. There's an entire cue point system within the DVJ-X1 as well. Obviously, you can stop the track wherever you want to, press pause, press cue, and your track is cued to that point. On top of that, we have hot cue points that you can record and use throughout your playback of your track. Press record mode and A, and you've recorded a point. Press B, and you've recorded another point. Press C, and you've got your third point. Then anytime you hit those buttons, you go back to the original point, A, B, or C. You can use that to do seamless loops, unlike the loops that we've just done here. You also have a startup and wind down system on the DVJ-X1. Obviously there's instant stop and instant start, but by adjusting the touch brake and the release start, you can wind a track down on the dance floor. Start it up slow again for a great dance floor effect. Let's have a closer look at the cueing and looping system on the DVJ-X1. First of all, there are two different ways that you can make a loop on the DVJ. One is, of course, the in and out that we talked about earlier. But there's also an emergency loop feature. The DVJ-X1 picks up the BPM of whatever track you happen to be playing. And when you grab an emergency loop, you get a nice, tight 4-beat loop. You can exit it by pressing exit, and then any time later in the track, if you want that loop back again, you just press re-loop and you go back to your original loop. Now this loop can also be stored. While the loop is playing, press record mode on the hot cue buttons, press the hot cue that you want to place it in, wait for the red light to stop flashing, press record mode again, and you'll see that it's now yellowish orange. That means that you have a loop stored in that hot cue point as opposed to a cue point. When you slot your DVD into the DVJ-X1, you have lots of options for setting up cues. The simplest, of course, is to find the very beginning of your track, the first sound. Press pause and then cue. Now your track is in cue. You can not only press play to make it play, you can also press cue to go straight back to your cue point again. And there's another trick in there. By pressing cue repeatedly and never pressing the pause button, you can make the track start where you want. That means you can add some extra percussion somewhere in another track that you might be playing on the other DVJ. Let's press cue and go back to the beginning of the track and show you another really cool feature about the DVJ-X1, and that's the memory. By pressing memory, we then save that cue point to an MMC media card in the DVJ-X1. That means if you're playing a club that has DVJs, all you have to do is take your DVDs and your memory cards, slot them into the DVJs, and you can recall all of your cue points anytime you want. Let's go in depth about pitch. I've grabbed a CD with some white noise at the beginning to kind of show you how things work with pitch. We've grabbed a loop of that at the beginning. Now you have the ability to speed that up. It also brings the pitch up when you bring the tempo up. You can slow that down, and it brings the pitch down when you bring the tempo down. What's interesting is you have 4 levels of tempo control on the DVJ-X1. Plus or minus 6%, plus or minus 10%, plus or minus 16%, or wide. Now, we can make significantly larger changes to the changes in pitch and tempo when you're on wide than when you're on 6%. But an interesting trick to add to this, by changing them, you can also affect instantly the pitch that you want to play back.